There is a very important APMC election going on in all of the places.
The David Guetta concert has been scrapped in Bangalore. Organizers say they're following the police's recommendation to scrap the event due to the present law and order situation. But the police say the concert has to be rescheduled to avoid a clash with the APMC polls, and that the organizers applied for their permission only a day in advance. Day 8 and the garbage is mounting in our national capital. Delhi sanitation workers continue to protest while netas and political parties bicker. Between the BJP-led municipal corporations of Delhi, the Aam Aadmi Party-led Delhi government and the central government, who's responsible for Delhi? Supreme Court denies hearing on the bull taming festival Jallikattu. The Tamil Nadu government blames the centre. The DMK threatens to protest.
DJ David Guetta's concert, the big ticket concert which was supposed to take place here in Bengaluru, stands cancelled. In fact, the organizers have cited reasons like the law and order situation here in Bengaluru ever since the New Year's molestation.
Sadly, I guess the current environment suggests that it is not safe to host an event of this size in Bangalore, and so may it be so. But it's a sad moment for all of us, because all of us want India to be safe and secure.
This particular request for this function was put forward to the Bangalore District Police on 10th, that is yesterday, day before yesterday, and hardly a day was given to process the papers. In between, already as per program, there is a very important APMC election going on in all of the places.
I think that they've completely failed, and you know what? I was really looking forward to this concert, and I can't believe it's due to security reasons, so I'm really disappointed.
I feel very guilty, like that shouldn't happen in Bangalore. We shouldn't expect that this should happen in Bangalore, exactly in Bangalore, because it is considered as the most civilized state in India.
I don't know, I definitely think that if you have your right bearings and stuff, you'll get around fine, and it's not at all an unsafe place to be. So David Guetta, you should have come.
This is a band from David Guetta. Instead, I was planning to go today, but then I thought of going at spot entry at 6 o'clock, and it is cancelled today. I have no idea about it. I'm really sad about it.
After those kind of scenes which have happened in Bangalore, people do get scared. Not only the people from outside, the girls also get scared to come and be themselves, and because of that, it's a big loss for other people to come here and perform.
Well, here's the evidence that we have before us. The organizers cancelled an event that was meant to take place tonight late this morning, citing law and order issues. The police have turned around and said there are no law and order issues. The issue was that the organizers applied for their permission about 24 hours before the cancellation, giving the police very little time to make arrangements, and the police had already assigned all of their forces to an APMC election that's also taking place. The question that we're asking this evening is, did the Bangalore police do the right thing? Should they have cancelled that event? Or should they have let it go forward? What's happening in general is that the city of Bangalore is developing a rather bad reputation of being fairly unsafe. The question I'm also asking is to you. Do you think the Bangalore police did the right thing? Should they have let this concert go forward? Joining me on the show this evening, Advaita Kala, author and scriptwriter. We'll also have Brijesh Kalappa of the Congress join us through the course of this conversation, as will Abha Singh, Kunal, writer and comedian, Tanveer Ahmed, national spokesperson of the JDS, ND Mulla DCP crime, former DCP crime of Bangalore. Jishnu Dasgupta is the manager and the bass guitarist at Swarathma, who also joins us in our Bangalore studio. I want to start with Mr. Mulla. Mr. Mulla, what is your response right now to what you're hearing from the police? Do you think the police did the right thing today?
Well, to start with, police have powers to grant permissions and license for public entertainment or public amusement under Karnataka Police Act. and it is a right of the citizens as well to watch any concert, any entertainment, and nominal fees is collected and all that. But here the catch is the organizers should have kept informed the police very early, at the earliest, so that police makes an arrangement and see to it that no trouble takes place, because it is the primary responsibility of the administration and police representing the administration or the government to make adequate arrangements. If any other circumstances, denying the permission cannot be objected, can be objected, but in the circumstances when they have been approached very late, I think they are justified in denying them the permission.
Justified? I also want to bring in now Jishnu Dasgupta. Do you believe the police was justified?
Well, I don't really think that there are any winners and losers here apart from David Guetta himself, the performer, and the fans that were going to listen to him, watch him play. So apart from the artists and the fans, the people who have lost out on this experience, I don't really think that there are any justifications that are possible at this stage, given the fact that there are allegations flying around all over the place. Yes, I do agree. I have been a part of David Guetta's concerts. I've been backstage while the concert has been going on back in 2012, and we've been part of music festivals at that venue, Embassy International Riding School. Events have happened very smoothly there in the past. And so it's not like it's a new place where nobody really knows how to pull things off. And I'm sure that the police, given the fact that if they had been informed well in advance at a time when they do claim to have other engagements, this possibly should have been better handled by all parties concerned.
Well, that's very true, that the people who lost out are those who bought the tickets, who were ready to go in for that concert. Tanveer Ahmed, the thing that concerns all of us, of course, is the reputation that Bangalore is acquiring of being unsafe, unsafe for events, unsafe for women. In this particular case, do you think the police should have gone ahead out of maybe concern for that particular reputation, moved some of its force, made accommodations?
See, whether the police should have given the permission or not permission is a second question. But as the gentleman, the musician from Swarathma, as he was saying that there is no winners and losers here, but I would say that today the losers are the normal citizens, the ordinary citizens of Bangalore, whose reputation is at stake. Imagine David Guetta is a very big musician who's well-renowned, world-renowned. He plays some music called EDM. If he tweets, Bangalore is unsafe for music, Bangalore is unsafe for charity, Bangalore is unsafe for musicians, for Western culture, what is the reputation of my city going to be there?
But Tanveer Ahmed, is he likely to do so? Is he likely to put out a tweet saying Bangalore is unsafe? Let's be slightly real here. Is David Guetta likely to put out a tweet saying Bangalore is unsafe for musicians and for women?
But if David Guetta puts something like this, then we have to take the event managers as totally responsible for this. How can you do such a big event, a world level event, and you just go for asking for permission 3 days prior to the event? Absolutely. You have to apply for the permission much before. How many permissions are there? You have to apply for fire and safety, you have to apply for ambulance, security, entrance, everything. All the permissions has to be given. And I would say the event managers have really acted immaturely by saying that police had denied the permission because of molestation. Police had denied the permission because the event managers have approached the police 3 days prior to the event. This is not the way you have to ask the permission for the event.
In fact, just to reiterate this, we of course have a bite on camera that the police has given the press, saying that the permission request only came in a day in advance and the police did not have time to arrange for security for an event of this size. Now, in the meantime, our reporters have gotten in touch with the company who organizes this event with Sunburn. We've asked them repeatedly, when did your permission request go in? They have neither confirmed nor denied what the police have said to us, and that's where the problem is right now. Kunal Rao, you're part of live events constantly. the onus is really on the organizers, isn't it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. India is not exactly the most easy country to organize events, especially live events on such a scale. We've seen in most states, there are like multiple windows that you have to get to. In fact, from what I understand, Karnataka is still an easier state to work with because there's a single window approval policy, if I'm not mistaken. But the fact is that the onus, unfortunately or fortunately, is always on the event organizer. And if it is true that they applied it just, say, 48 hours before, that is a problem. I see where the police comes from. The problem is right now we're just in, it's a he said, she said situation. We don't know what the real reason for the cancellation of the permission is. Is it because the police weren't sure they'll be able to get enough security? Is it because the application was made too late? We don't know all this fact. If the application was made late, I'm sorry, but the event organizers made a mistake. Having said that, we've had cancellation of events before. There was a Jerry Seinfeld event that was supposed to happen a few years ago. It got cancelled because of parking issues, which is, from what I understand, a last-minute spring up on the organizers. So a lot of issues on both sides.
Sorry, I'm going to interrupt you because we have some clarification here. The Sunburn Festival on Twitter has just put out this statement. Apart from other things, it says, we now clarify that the primary reason of the cancellation was a date clash with the APMC elections in the area on the same day. It also says we had to shift the venue of the event a few days prior under advice from administration. Hence, we only approached the local police for their support quite late, which did not give them enough time to appropriately plan for the event. It goes on to say we are now in discussion with the authorities and the artists to reschedule the show in the coming days. We shall have a further update very shortly. So that clarifies the he shares, whatever it is we were worried about. What was the reason really? I want to go to Brijesh Kalappa. Brijesh Kalappa, what are you hearing? You represent the state government. What are you hearing from the government right now? Because there's a lot being said about the reputation of Bangalore getting hurt by this move. What is the government's stand?
No, I don't think the government's reputation is hurt or the state's reputation is hurt in any manner, because the state, as you know, after this events of the New Year rivalry, and now we've had a big event which is the Pravasi Bharati Divas, and all of them went off very peacefully and without any major event. And given that situation, this is in comparison to these two events, this is a much smaller event. And I'm sure if there was no date clash with the APMC elections, this event also would have gone through and more satisfactorily. I don't think there is an issue in regard to that. The larger issue is that I don't think the organizers thought things through, and they should have actually taken a hold of the fact that these are the events which are presently on. And these are the events which are likely to take place. And for this reason, there will be a conflict between an election where public participates and also an event like this where people from all areas will flock in. And I think the organizers ought to have taken into consideration these facts and then moved and then, planned things. But I don't think they thought things through. And today they are now saying that the administration advised them to move. But I don't know how the administration could have advised them, because there are other events which take place in different parts of the city. This is on the outskirts and this is in Bangalore rural, not in Bangalore city. So therefore, I think the organizers should have taken adequate precautions and seen that this event goes through, in a manner in which there is no hindrance.
Advaita Kala also joins us. Advaita is an author and a scriptwriter. Advaita, what's your reaction to the cancellation of the event? Technically, a lot of people who were going to attend were very disappointed because the cancellation came late this morning for an event that was meant to be held the same day. People had paid money, some people had travelled for this. They just generally felt largely disappointed. Is the ball or the onus now on the organisers' court? Because it does seem from the last statement that the application for permission went in too late.
Well, they've been saying different things through the day. Earlier in the day, they said something else where they squarely kind of said that this was because of what happened on New Year's Eve. And now they've sort of retracted or deleted that tweet and put out a new statement. So one doesn't really know, where they stand on this. Certainly 2 days is not enough. I mean, for an event of this nature, I mean, that just doesn't make any practical sense. anyone who's organized any kind of event that involves the police knows that that's not fair to expect that of the police. But it really brings me back to a larger question, which is really about the whole state of mind presently that is prevalent in Bangalore. And that's really what we should be discussing, because like someone said earlier, you know, this is a matter of one concert. You know, these come and go. It can probably be rescheduled. That's not a problem. But the thing is that you have students who are out on the streets protesting and really asking for action to be taken and to be assured of some kind of safety. And I think that is really the point that we have to concentrate on and focus on and see. And really, there is a question of mindsets. You know, I've gotten to that point after debating and after writing on so many of these issues that take place across the country, that there is a prevalent mindset that is a challenge even for state governments and police to handle. But having said that, there are more immediate actions that states can take which don't border on apathy and incompetence, and that unfortunately is lacking, and we see that happening over and over again.
Advaita, in this particular case, since you brought it up, do you believe that the police in this could have handled this differently from what they have? When you talk about mindset, how could this particular event have been handled differently?
You know, I think the police is in a tight spot, because clearly they've also been traumatized by what happened on New Year's Eve. You know, I mean, there's no doubt about that. I mean, that went global. The entire world press was reporting on it. David Guetta's cancellation and the organizers' first statement regarding that cancellation is also going to get press around the world. So this looks really, really bad for Bangalore, whether they, you know, want to admit it or not. But that is one issue. The separate issue is really, you know, we know what happens at rock concerts. Let's not be naive about them. They can get unruly, you know, especially things with DJs and situations like that. So it is going to be a challenging exercise to control this as opposed to any other kind of event, exactly. Because, and especially in light of what's just happened. So there is a genuine challenge here, and people need, and the police does need time to deliver on this. But I think the more important issue, once again, I repeat, is really what is the government, what is the police doing about the incident that took place, about the kind of insecurity that we're seeing, you know, with students coming out and protesting, and really, you know, how are they going to protect the way of life of young people and not pass moral judgments on them? And I think that is a very important point that I would like to make, because some of the
so let's bring that in. I want to bring in Endi Mulla and Abha Singh here. Endi Mulla and Abha Singh. Endi Mulla, a very good question. What has been done since January to make the citizens or the women of Bangalore feel safer? And if this is the case right now, where an event is being cancelled, is this sending a wrong message?
No, I don't agree with you.
Definitely, it is sending a wrong message that law and order.
Endi Mulla first, and then Abha Singh. Endi Mulla, please go ahead.
Yeah, see, first of all, I don't agree with the suggestion that the city is unsafe. The very fact, I have been arguing on this point, the very fact that women, that lady in Kamanalli came out at 2:40 goes to show that city is safe enough. It was only an isolated incident. Even on MG Road, there were no clippings of any women being molested. It was only an allegation. In fact, they were scared and asking for the help of the police. That apart, my take on this goes that the city is very, very safe for any women, even young women. And we, for example, we see a lot of women walking around in the after 9 o'clock, even 9 p.m. even. So this wrong argument on part of
Mr. Mulla, I think it's unfair for you to say that no molestation took place in MG Road at all.
Yeah, it's slightly presumptuous to say that this is an isolated event. I'm sorry. I mean, we're talking about years of various cities and various states having these events being reported. It's not an isolated event. I understand that Bangalore is still a reasonably safe city, but of course there are issues in every city. But I don't know why these two are even brought together, because I don't think the police made a statement about the fact that that this was the reason for the cancellation of the event. I don't know why we're bringing in the New Year's Eve event to the David Guetta cancellation event, because they're those are two separate things. I don't think anybody's brought it up except for the event organizers themselves.
So the event organizers brought it up, which you know, makes it reason to discuss. And we have Abha Singh. Abha Singh, same question to you. Should the police have handled this differently? And does this send a bad message out to citizens of Bangalore?
Definitely. By cancelling the event, they have created a fear psychosis in Bengaluru. It is giving a message that law and order has collapsed. The police have surrendered to the hooligans, and that is why their confidence level is also gone down, and maybe that is the reason they have cancelled. Otherwise, they should have definitely gone ahead with the event. They could have got paramilitary forces, they could have got reserve forces from the neighbouring states, because where there is a will, there is a way, and law and order is a state subject. It clearly shows that they don't have a roadmap. They don't have a roadmap to make the women safe. No, by cancelling an event, Mumbai went ahead and had the
you are going to get paramilitary force, you're going to get reserve force, you're going to get police.
In Mumbai in BKC.
What is
and
this?
Now you say, why not? Why not? You have to instill confidence in the girls.
Abha
you have
Singh,
to ensure that they are not molested. So that the message is this.
You need to
because
really
how can you
understand
cancel
Bangalore.
something like
Those
this?
sitting in
People have got
opposition, I would like to tell you, Ms. Abha Singh, that you can't really
but
make
then
a
why
loose
was it
statement
cancelled?
like this.
Why was it cancelled?
This
Why
event
was it
cancelled because people
there are
had
people
gone
who
to
have
take a
travelled to
permission
attend that function.
with police
In the
only
first place,
2 days
why
prior,
did you
1
do
day
it?
prior to the event.
No.
Exactly. The event managers have to make need to
no,
really do a
but it
press
shows
conference
the
and
lack of
apologize to the
confidence
people
of the
city.
police. It clearly shows
and I'm
the
telling
lack
you,
of
if the event
confidence
managers
of
don't
the police
apologize to
that
the
it
people
has
of the city,
buckled.
we want to protest every event which Sunburn is going to have.
Hold a function. Why
Abha
can't
Singh,
they need to really apologize to the people of the city.
30,000 policemen in the city.
How did they say that because of the molestation they didn't
There
get
is
the
no
permission?
point in shouting.
No
End
policeman
result is
can
that
really
you
make a
cancel the
statement
show.
like this.
You don't have the courage. You don't have the courage to hold a show.
Okay,
It is simple that you
response
don't
to
have the
Abha
courage to
Singh,
hold
do
a
you
show, and
believe?
that is why you're not
I
giving
think if the
permission.
event managers don't apologize, I am telling you, as sitting in opposition, we would not let the Sunburn happen. They have to come and apologize to the people of the city because they have defamed the city.
Andy Mullah, respond to Abha Singh.
Yeah, I agree with Tanveer.
Go ahead, sir.
I agree with Tanveer. Just listen. It is not sending a few constables to the event. It is making arrangements. The stage has to be checked up by the PWD authorities. Water arrangements have to be made, and every kind of arrangements have to be made. It is not just making arrangements, sending a couple of policemen to the event. It is the onus lies on the police once they give the permission. So they are justified in not giving the permission. The organizers should have gone well in advance to the police and asked for that.
Abha Singh, we've got a release now that has just come in. It's just come in just now. In fact, when we started the show at about 8 o'clock, when it said the Sunburn has put out a statement saying they had to shift the venue a few days prior on advice from administration, and they only approached the locals police for their support quite late, which they have accepted at this point. Now, net in general, whether it was Sunburn's fault or anybody else's, you are right about the fact it does make Bangalore seem slightly unsafer than it did in December before we went into New Year's Eve, and that is something we need to acknowledge. I want to bring back the rest of the the panelists right now. Jishnu, what could have been done differently at this point, and do you feel that because of this decision, it has defamed Bangalore, it has made Bangalore seem more unsafe than it did 2 weeks ago?
I think I'd like to bring back a point that I think Kunal made earlier on this discussion, that we are really talking about two different incidents here. We are talking about one very, very tragic incident of a number of the revelers on MG Road, women who were subject to horrific treatment and things really going out of hand over there. And yes, as you rightly pointed out, the New Year's incident is something that does project Bangalore in poor light. And this is systemic. This is a problem, and let us accept we face that in all of our cities. However, if there is a withdrawal of permission by an authority for an event of the nature, linking that prima facie to saying that this happened on New Year's Eve, therefore 2 weeks later we are not being allowed to have another event of this nature, I think is irresponsibility on the part of the people that are as much a part of the city as all of us. This is what I think I'd like to say on this.
So you're basically saying, Kunal Rao.
Let me intervene.
Yes, go ahead, sir.
Any state or any administration is competent enough to hold any kind of event, let it be 2 events, 3 events, and particular day. But the thing is, they should be given time to organize that. That is more important here. In last moment, you go and ask for the protection or permission, it cannot be given. And moreover, it is not withdrawal of the permission. The permission itself was not given because of the paucity of the time.
Because of the paucity of the time, but in general, Kunal, I want to come back to you with this. From what Jishnu is saying to us, it does sound like Bangalore misbehaved on New Year's Eve, and no candy, there is no concert. You can't have any fun because obviously citizens of the city. I mean, let's be honest about what happens in concerts. 20,000 people physically jammed into a tiny space, and it is not a space where you want a repetition of New Year's Eve.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. The fact is that if security is the reason, and the police haven't been given enough time, I think it's a fair reason to cancel the concert. But I don't know. We still don't know what the facts are. That's basically where we are. But what I find really unfortunate is that no matter what happens, the onus is always on the event organizer.
But I know you've
said. I know that people say that when the permission from the cops are taken, then the onus is on them. But the fact is, even when police are around, the onus of security is always on the organizers, and I don't know whether that's such a great thing, because at the end of the day, we're private citizens. We're expecting the government to help us. We're expecting support from the police. I've never been to a concert where there's a security issue and the police has solved it like this. It's never. It's 9 times out of 10 is the event organizers who've got a really strong security system. And I think that's where the issue is. I really wish that the two could come together and make something great, because that's what we want. We want the private citizen to be able to put out a concert like this and yet have support from the government.
What has your experience been in the city of Bangalore for events that you've organized in the past? And I'll ask Jishnu the same question in a bit.
I wish I could have organized events in Bangalore. I'm obviously not that popular. But the events I've been to in Bangalore have been great. There's no doubt it's a great city. Like I said before, there's a single window approval policy from what I understand. It's a reasonably safe city. You have far fewer issues. Having said that, I know that an event like this can make a difference to the state straight away. I know for a fact, straight after, as I mentioned earlier, when the Seinfeld event got cancelled, I know for a fact a lot of event organizers were thinking, you know what, let's just not do any more shows in Bombay. Let's go to Delhi, let's go to Bangalore, let's go to Calcutta. It's so much easier to organize stuff over there. That's of course a slightly different, it's a bigger issue out there.
Right.
Specifically with respect to this, if the permissions were sought very late, the onus is unfortunately on the event organizers.
Jishnu Dasgupta, what has been your experience in Bangalore in the past, working with the police, working with the law and order infrastructure? Have you had a similar experience any time in the past?
Well, my band Swarathma has played several concerts in the city of Bangalore. This is our home state. Specifically at Embassy International Writing School, the venue in question, we have played no less than 3 times as part of a pretty big music festival called NH7 Weekender that has happened over the past. We have never really seen any untoward incidents happen, and that, as others have said on the panel, is a testimony to the fact that the organizer of the event and the police have worked hand in hand to make that happen. Now, as I said before, if it is the reputation of the city, the fact that we are known as a culturally open, cosmopolitan place that accepts music, tradition, dance, and cultures of different parts of the world that come together, then we all need to take the responsibility for it and make sure that we play our part as a musician, as the fans, as people in the street that are a part of the event in any way, the organizing committee most of all. So it is as musicians that have made this city home, I think this is still one of the best places to organize a concert.
All right, let's bring back Abha Singh and Advaita Kala. Advaita Kala, anyone who's been to a concert knows that it's physically uncomfortable, and that's normally something that audience is willing to sort of bear with in order to be in the concert. But given what happened not so long ago on the 31st of December, would it be possible that people were uncomfortable and this cancellation will just make everybody think twice about any crowded space in Bangalore?
You know, I personally, I lived in Bangalore a little over 10 years ago, and I remember even back at that time, Bangalore was the city really where we got all the concerts. So every time someone came, an international artist came, they definitely stopped by at Bangalore. And I remember friends in Delhi saying, this is so unfair. But it was also because in Bangalore we were a more sort of amiable crowd, so to speak, than what you would experience in, say, in a Delhi if there was a concert of that kind. So this is sad, that this has happened. There's no doubt about it. But again, once again, I go back to the same point, mindsets take time to change, and there definitely needs to be a change in mindset. But what is more immediate are the steps that the state and the police can take. And what are those steps? Are we looking at having outreaches in girls' colleges? Have we made any moves on the FIRs? Have we done anything about the people who were arrested? Are we discussing things like a sexual offenders registry? Every time these incidents happen, I feel like the follow-up is minimal, till the next one takes place, and then we gather again and we outrage about it, but nothing really changes. And we have to kind of take responsibility for this and say that these discussions also must be more constructive rather than blame gaming, which is really a vicious cycle that anyone can get caught up in. And right now we have to ask them for answers more than going on about, like I said, the organizers said something else in the morning. They've sort of backtracked now. Could very well be because they need to keep doing these shows, so they need to have a good relationship with the police and things of that nature. So we don't really know what the facts are. But does this perpetuate a certain kind of fear psychosis? Unfortunately, it does, because the message has already gone out there from the morning that this was cancelled because of the incident during New Year's time. So what do? You have to kind of tackle that.
I want to bring in ND Mulla here, and I want to tell you something, Mr. Mulla, as the former DCP crime of Bangalore, and I believe that as women we should be more honest about these things. I grew up in Bangalore, sir. We used to, in college, I went to Mount Carmel College, we used to call Brigade Road, and I'm not exaggerating, we used to call it Grope Central. Where are you going? We're going to Grope Central. That's what we used to call it, because that's what it was. And I'm being honest, on national television, that's what it was. Any girl who grew up in Bangalore will give you an experience, a negative experience of what it was like to walk down Brigade Road in broad daylight at 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that is the truth of Bangalore. Now, when you say safe, I'm sure everybody on this panel means relatively safe to possibly places in Uttar Pradesh. But when we talk, is Bangalore completely safe? The truth is, it is not completely safe. Now, this one incident has brought the media glare on it. But the truth is, we haven't done anything as a city post that to fix the problem. If there are girls who are walking comfortably down the street at 9 p.m. at night, it's because they have to. And they're no longer willing to lock themselves up anymore. But the truth is, it has never been safe. And I don't think things have changed. So I just want to challenge what you said earlier when you said that I think Bangalore is safe and these things don't happen and this was a stray incident. From my personal experience, I can tell you, it was not a stray incident, Mr. Mulla.
See, if Bangalore city is not safe, no other city in the country or in the world is safe enough. Is any problem which any other country, any other city faces, Bangalore also faces. But I'm telling you, comparatively, people are more, conscious here. People are more courteous here, and they do not, as a matter of habit, do it. Stray incidents take place everywhere. No city is, that way no city is free of these incidents. But as my experience of Bangalore is that generally women feel safe here. Yes, Brigade Road, Church Street, and there are many women gather there, and some stray incidents take place among the friends also. These incidents take place, but you cannot paint the entire city because of one or two incidents.
Okay, there's several things wrong with it.
You can't say comparatively as a benchmark. I'm sorry. Obviously we can't be a country where we're okay with reasonably safe. I'm not saying that we'll ever reach that. I don't know whether we'll ever reach that space where it's perfectly safe, but at least we should constantly try to improve.
And
we can't be okay and say, yeah,
I
it's
will
all
bring in
right.
Abha Singh. Abha Singh, we both smile that sometimes this happens among friends. Just because you know the person does not make it okay and does not make it something that is not a law and order issue or a crime. That I think is the first thing we need to knock out. And if we're talking about, I personally right now take offense to the statement stray incidents. These are not stray incidents. I'm telling you they're not stray incidents. There needs to be more cognizance from the law and order system to say this is a problem. Unless we accept that we have a problem, we can't begin to start solving it. Abha Singh.
Exactly, they have to take it with a pinch of salt. You cannot say that it is a sporadic incident, it just happened because it was the new year. But the other incident where it came out that they were delivery boys, they were stalking girls, they were going to deliver food, and they made a mental note that these girls are living alone. Let me tell you, stalking incidents are not even reported because the girl is always in a dilemma whether to go to the police station, and also the unpleasant questions which are asked. So let us not go by these only few incidents. There are many more which girls don't come forward and complain. Also, this cancellation, if it has been cancelled because of law and order, it sends a very wrong message not only in India but abroad also. The foreign tourists who come, the investors who come, that these cities are not safe. And we all know Bengaluru is a commercial hub, it is the MNC's hub, so it is all the more necessary for the local police to maintain law and order, and which is very true, the amount of crime which has been increasing against girls. It is not something to be taken very lightly. Ultimately, these stalking incidents lead to acid throwing, and that is a fact which has come out in NCRB figures also, that these stalkers end up doing bigger crimes. So it has to be nipped in the bud. They have to take measures. They need a roadmap. Their local intelligence has to be there. Their CCTV cameras have to be in place. Their mobile vans have to be in place, because after Nirbhaya there were promises that there would be mobile vans, but you cannot spot even a single van on the roads. Their 100 number, which is supposed to be called, is always busy. So even 0 FIRs we talk of, but they are never registered. So I think it requires a Herculean task to make the girls safe, feel safe, and ensure that even if these events come, police should take it as a challenge and show it to the country that we can organize anything. And keep the girls
Advaita
safe.
Kala, I just want to bounce this off you as well, because you said you lived in Bangalore for 10 years. Would you say Bangalore is, and I don't mean relatively, but a safe city?
Yes, I don't think it is, again, in its entirety, no city can be safe. Even Scandinavian countries, which are very high on in terms of their gender statistics, and are truly and some would even call them feminist countries, have crime against women. So I think crime exists everywhere. So it would be unfair to kind of say that this is just specific to Bangalore. Certainly, at least 10 years ago, it was definitely safer in comparison. It's unfortunate, but when you're single, when you're a working woman, when you're living out in a city, you do look at those kind of parameters, because there is no ideal situation. And that is really what we have to work towards, is to go ahead and challenge people when they show incompetence, especially in power. In Delhi, for example, where are the CCTV cameras? There were these big promises made after Nirbhaya, but where are the CCTV cameras? They're just not there. When we had that Bulandshahr rape, what about highway patrolling? I mean, a mother and daughter were pulled out of a car and raped on the side of the road. So, these are the things that we have to start holding them accountable for. But that invariably doesn't happen, because we end up in this blame game, and that's really where it ends. But there is really no lobbying. I really think it's time to kind of lobby for these things with state governments, with central governments, and say that, these are the things that women demand now. Enough is enough. I think that moment, that patience is over now. That the thing that it happens and you're responsible, and that kind of blame gaming and the commentary that comes from politicians every time. Why was she out at this time? What was she wearing? These things happen in crowded places. I mean, these can be attributed to all of them.
Phone calls.
So I don't even want to get into name calling and saying who said what, when, in which incident. I could, but it's so irrelevant, because that's just the mindset even amongst the political class.
All right, we have a caller on the phone line. Christopher, I'm going to go to Christopher. But before we do that, I just want to clarify to our audience our stand as well. There's been a lot being said about the media overhyping the incident that happened on the 31st of December in Bangalore. Now, personally, as a representative of the media, I just want to clarify this one thing. If the women in Bangalore, the young girls, the little girls in school and across the country realize from this overhyping that we have done that it is not okay to be groped, that it is in fact a crime, that you do have to file an FIR, that the police is obligated to protect you, then I believe we have done our job. Because what happens a lot in this country is that incidents of molestation and groping take place and people just ask the girl to walk it off. You speak to your friend, she'll tell you she's had a similar experience and you believe that's what life is like. That's not what life is like. It is in fact a crime, and that you do and you can complain to the police and they are obligated to look after you. If we've put that message out through this last 2 weeks, I believe that as the media we would have done some portion of our job. Christopher is on the phone line from Calcutta. Christopher, what's your question?
My biggest thing is I'm surprised at some of the officials stating it is a stray incident. The biggest...
Go ahead,
Hello?
Christopher, we can hear you. Go ahead.
I just want to make few points here. Firstly, it is irritating to see officials going on a defensive and terming the incidents as stray. And the biggest thing, they had a big challenge and a very big opportunity to get back the name by letting the function take place, by suggesting to the organizers that why don't you all defer the date instead of outrightly cancelling it and keeping the excuse as it was too short a time for them to do any arrangement. They could have given them an alternate date and it would have been a face saving for them to allow this concert to go and try to ensure that everything went perfect.
All right, Christopher, thank you for calling us. I just want to point out to you that the police have in fact told the organizers to come up with a second date and they will discuss it. In the organizers' release that has come out as well, they have said that they are in discussion with both the authorities and the artists to reschedule the show. It hasn't entirely been cancelled. But Tanveer Ahmed, respond to that, to what Christopher said, that there was a challenge here, an opportunity to sort of do some damage control to the reputation of Bangalore, and that opportunity was lost. Tanveer Ahmed.
Exactly, that if at all the event managers do come back to police for another date, the police should give a permission, but not without they apologizing to the city of Bangalore, because they have already put it on the Twitter saying that because of this incident the police had cancelled the event. And second thing, I have strong objections against what Mr. Mulla said as the DCP of Bangalore. He is an honest officer, I have seen him, but if that stray incident is my daughter or your daughter, you are not going to take it lying down, sir. We need to really protect, until unless you send a strong message. What happened to these 4 people who are arrested? What is going to happen? You have to send a message in a public platform. That's when the people would be scared and the women would be feeling safe. Rather than saying that it's just a stray incident, it happens everywhere. No, it should not happen in a place where we are living. We need to see the point. And Faye, I would like to congratulate media by bringing this to the notice of every common citizen, that if any incident like this happen, the first thing they need to do is they need to go to a police. If the police doesn't take these incidents very seriously, now they know that media is very strong and their case would be heard. But however, saying that, the Sunburn people need to really publicly apologize to the people of Bangalore for defaming the Bangalore, calling everybody as a molester. This is really not done. Those sitting in opposition, I would say that police that definitely need to get adequate permission, adequate time to organize everything. And if police had denied the permission because they had come to permission one day prior, then it is a fault of an event manager, not of police.
All right. Mr. Mulla, do you want to respond to that before I bring in Rahul Easwar? Go ahead, Mr. Mulla, go ahead.
I mean, the very fact that there are several laws brought to protect women goes to show that women are vulnerable. Therefore, the responsibility of police increases, and police is generally all the time conscious about this particular responsibility and do their best. But unfortunately, we are not living in an utopian society. Therefore, these incidents do take place, have taken place, and police are firmly taken. For example, this communally incident, can you imagine, without any clue, the next day police arrest all the culprits? This goes to show the efficiency of the police.
There was enough clue, sir. There was enough clue.
They are very good in that.
No, there was CCTV footage.
No,
there was enough clue. CCTV was there,
okay,
and all the police should have come.
You know, I also have gone through the. I also have gone through the.
And that CCTV was from a private home, not even the street.
Yeah, I know, I understand. With all that also, how much clarity there was in CCTV. But give the police the due credit, no, at least.
4 people were arrested, but I must point out, Mr. Mulla, that even in our studios, we were pointing out how that the CCTV footage was in fact remarkably clear. That we had to spend a lot of time, treating it and blurring it for the benefit of the victim. But it was very, very clear CCTV footage, and the police actually had the advantage there in that case.
But imagine out of 125 lakh people, picking up 5 persons, don't you give the credit to police for that?
Okay, all right.
Yes, you take the credit. The technology is strong enough to catch anybody, sir. All you need to do is just need to find out the mobile connection, because everybody do carry a mobile connection, and that's all police did. Fine, we give the credit to police, but incidents like this should not happen.
All right, let's not get derailed. Let's give the police of Bangalore credit for picking up the 4 people that they arrested after the communally molestation case, but no FIRs have been registered for the MG Road mass molestation case yet. Nobody has been arrested. There's been absolutely no movement on that case. Rahul Easwar joins us right now. Rahul Easwar, there is a concert in Bangalore that has been cancelled. Does it give Bangalore a worse name than it did, 2 weeks before? Do you think are these creating a fear psychosis?
Rather than looking for a bad name or good name, the prime importance is of security. When the establishment and police tell there is some backlog of cases and there is some issues that are pending, and many people may use these kind of opportunities who are perverts to use such methods, we should respect the stand of the police and the establishment. It is for a reason that they say this. They mean we should take extra care, and nobody is against a concert. No, they only need to have a better place, maybe a safer place to do these things. There is no point of defaming any society. In many advanced nations too, such things have happened. So it is not about defaming Bangalore. For the better security, our priority should be protection of girls, security, and all these things, not bringing a concert or branding concert via Bangalore.
Well, Rahul Easwar, could that have been done in a different way? Let's set aside the fact that the police were only given a day's notice, but you're saying that our concern should be protection of girls. So you're basically saying cancel the event as opposed to taking the risk. But is that the right way to go about it?
See, let me be very honest. Let me be not kind of politically correct in saying that our girls are extremely safe. No, we have limited number of policemen, we have limited number of resources, we have limited number of CCTVs. We need to upgrade all these. But when right-wingers tell our girls to take extra care, our government to be extra cautious, it is just putting women's safety as a priority. Please don't misunderstand us for being chauvinistic or for being chaining our girls. It is out of care and caution that we request our establishment to be more cautious regarding these things. It is out of a genuine sense of belongingness and a genuine care for the protection and security of the girls. Many a times, the modern English media and the feminists misunderstand our position as chauvinism, whereas it is only care and concern, not chauvinism and so-called patriarchy.
All right. Rahul Easwar, I personally, as a flag-bearing feminist of the modern English media, appreciate your concern, but I'm going to take this to both Abha Singh and Advaita Kala, who are going to respond to you. Advaita, you go first, and then Abha. Advaita, respond to Rahul Easwar.
Well, I'm not going to say that this is patriarchal, but it's definitely paternal, to kind of blunt the edge of what I'm going to say. So this is certainly paternal. I think it's important then that when this well-meaning advice, assuming it is well-meaning advice and with good intention, comes the way of women, I think it's very important that really more specific attention is spent on men, because they're really men who are out on the streets who are being these aggressors. You know, it's not women violating bodies and the space of men. It is men doing that to women. So let's be clear on that fact. And when that happens, I think these sanskar, which is bandied about a lot, should really be delivered to them in a systematic, even a traditional format, where they realize that, you know, you cannot violate another human being just because you're from a stronger, physically stronger gender, or you're deluded into believing that you are entitled to rights over the bodies of women. And I think that is the kind of advice that all well-meaning people should give to young men.
Well, Abha Singh, you know, my problem with all of this simply winds up to the same
Rather
thing.
than women.
That all of the remedies are targeted at protecting the possible victims as opposed to preventing the perpetrators of crime from committing crime. And somehow this only happens in the case of crime against women.
Yes, this is the basic thing what you are talking. The main parameter, the fundamental tenet of jurisprudence is deterrence. And the law should be such that the message goes, people should fear the law. The prevention of crime is the main duty of the police, and if they are unable to prevent crime, these are all subsequent, that you are protecting them, they should be careful. But the issue is, we are paying our taxes for safety and security. It is the duty, and that is what the CRPC says. The CRPC very clearly says that it is 149 says that it is the duty of the police to prevent a cognizable offense from happening. So when they are unable to prevent a crime from happening, all these secondary issues light up. So I would say police must have a roadmap. They must have adequate security. You free the cops who are doing only VIP bandobast, who are working in the houses of the senior officers, who are there with politicians, builders. Free these men, bring them for the safety and security of the city, and restore the faith of the girls and the common man in the police, and ensure that every event goes off without such molestation events happening. We are grateful to media that at least it has highlighted. But now when these problems have come out, it is the duty of the police and the Chief Minister of the state to ensure that law and order is restored in the city and girls are free and not scared any further to venture out.
Well, Mr. Mulla, it's an accepted fact that statistics tell us that Bangalore's police is understaffed in a ratio of citizens to police officers. Bangalore doesn't have as many police officers as it should have. So what Abha Singh is saying is free them up from VIP duty and make them available to citizens. Do you agree?
Yeah, please, number is not the question at all. We are, for the city of 125 lakhs, we have enough number of policemen. And this keeps on increasing. Imagine in 80s we had only 58 police stations. Today we have 120 police stations, and the number of the staff has tripled. In every part of the city, and
it has to grow in proportion. According to my research, you have one policeman for.
Moreover,
yeah. Go ahead.
What about the population?
Ready. 5 minutes.
Go ahead, sir. Go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, Mr. Mulla, go ahead.
The number of in the city, policemen may not be in proportion with the number of the population, but with all that also, police is doing their best. You know, the response time today is only 3 minutes. You call the control room in 3 minutes time, either Cheetah is there or Vaisala is there or local police is there. So there is a lot of improvement. You telling that no improvement has taken place or we understaffed, all that is, I don't agree with. There is enough number of policemen anywhere in city.
All right, also respond to this, Mr. Mulla. We did get a report that the police officers of the Brigade Road, MG Road police station were all transferred 5 months before New Year's Eve, and the new officers who were brought in from rural districts. They don't really understand Bangalore, they don't really understand the dynamics of the city, and that might have been one of the reasons.
This is one. This is one of the. This is generally said about this, that policemen have been transferred, but then unfortunately this is an accepted term that every alternatively policemen had to be transferred. Otherwise, at one place they become useless after some time. Therefore, the transfer is routine. Of course, that transfer, because of that transfer,
you are saying useless.
It has affected the law and order.
No, you are saying useless, and I'd ask my panel for permission to just pursue this line of questioning.
That could be one of the factors.
No, but we had a previous retired officer on this channel who told us that for at least Brigade Road and MG Road, you need to keep police officers who understand both the city and the neighborhood and the dynamics of the neighborhood that they're policing. So there are two arguments here. What do you mean by useless? Can you explain that to us? And do you not believe that police officers who were there for 5 years should have at least stayed there through New Year's Eve, which is obviously a challenging period for the police?
No, earlier when they were for 5 years, the term was for 5 years. They had become, too familiarized with the local police, local population, which was again a negative aspect on policing of the area. Therefore, the government in their best wisdom have transferred some of the officers. Of course, that's one of the factors.
Too familiar. Are you talking about corruption in with the local establishments? Is that what you mean by too familiar?
Exactly. The general public, the general public take policemen for granted if a particular police officer remains there for a longer period than 1 or 2 years. That's the reason that they keep changing, and policemen in any case adopt the
I think he's talking of vested interests.
All right, unfortunately, we've run out of time, but this is a very interesting angle that we'll continue to pursue here on this channel. What happens really when a police officer stays in an expensive neighborhood like Bangalore, MG Road or Brigade Road, which is full of commercial establishments for longer than a couple of years? Mr. Mulla, they're an experienced officer himself telling us they become useless and they're not able to do their jobs anymore, which is why they have to be transferred. Well, we wrap up this conversation, and I thank our panels. I just have one message for the people at home. If anything at all you pick up from this conversation, I would like you to spend a few minutes talking to your children tonight about consent. Explain to your daughters what consent is, and more importantly, explain to your sons that what they're hearing in their schools and their locker rooms and their sports teams is not right. Consent is something that's very, very important, and no, in fact, means no. Thank you for watching.
You can watch live TV on our website mpnow.in. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Magicbricks Now. And don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at Magicbricks Now. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/Magicbricks Now.